وہ تو دو تمہارے آپ کی میرے آپ کے رکھی ہوئی نا سارے دربار اگر آپ تمہارے ساتھ لائک کرو بھائی تم کہاں جا رہے
ادھر یہ بچھوا دیں. دو کافی تھی تین.
yes align کرنا align بیٹا پھر تھوڑا سا مطلب اچھا بیچ میں گیپ دینا ہوتا ہے
کیمرہ آ رہا ہے کیمرہ مجھ سے ہل گیا. ابھی آئیں گے
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلم تسليما.
اللهم صل على
محمد.
محمد.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين آل ولي الله وسيد رسول الله وخليفته بلا أنفاس.
اللهم صل على.
أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين آل حجة الله. هيا على الصلاة. هيا على الصلاة. هيا على الفلاح. هيا على الفلاح. هيا على خير العمل. هيا على خير العمل. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على السلام. حي على السلام. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير الأمر. حي على خير الأمر. قابل الصلاة. قابل الصلاة. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر.
الله
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان الله. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. حول الله وقوته. قل بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد تبارك الله ربي الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. حول الله. اور بسم الله الرحمن الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. صل على محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. استغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. صل على
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن علي ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير الأمل حي على خير الأمل. قامت الصلاة قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
صلاة العشاء مولانا فتح.
الله أكبر
الله أكبر.
الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. الله. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إلى الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله حول الله وقوته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد فذلك الله ربي الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم الذي بحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إلى الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا حبيب الله. يحييك الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله يا ابن رسول الله يا حسين أيها الشهيد بكربلاء. السلام عليك وعلى جدك وأبيك وعلى أمك وأخيك جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الأسر والزمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا الإمام المسلم الجاهل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم جميع المسلمين ورحمة الله وبركاته.
پر محمد والے محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. مومن و مومنات، ہم مجلس بسلسلہ شب شہادت امام زین العابدین کی ابتدا کر رہے ہیں. سب سے پہلے میں گزارش کر رہا ہوں جناب مسلم حسام سے کیا ہیں حدیث کی ساری تلاوت کریں. مسلم حسام پر محمد والے محمد بابا النار سلوار اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة كماله وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل. فقال السلام عليك يا أمه فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها راية جد رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوزي قد أذنت لك، فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه، فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها راية جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختار له الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ وقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافي أمتي قد أذنت لك، فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم ها هو ما ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وهو بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال الله إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم، أنهرب لمن هاربهم، أسلم لمن سالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم، ومحب لمن أحبهم، إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، واذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبتي هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبالها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على محمد
وآل محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم فقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيه من مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مذموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وكذا الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
महसूस खाने के आगाज में सलाम के लिए गुजारिश कर रहा हूँ जनाब इस्माइल हसन से क्या है सलाम पेश करें। इस्माइल हसन।
बर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलावत अल्लाह।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। एक और सलावत है। सजाद को बेमौत ये गम मार गया है बेपर्दा हरम साथ है बेपर्दा हरम साथ है और शाम चला है सजाद को बेमौत ये गम मार गया है ना मार सकीना को तमाचे सितमगर ना मार सकीना کو تماچے ایسی تمگر، احساس یتیمی ہی بڑا سخت سزا ہے، بے پردہ حرم ساتھ ہے، اور شام چلا ہے، سجاد کو بے موت یہ غم مار گیا ہے، اے شمر لئی کس پہ تو برساتا ہے کوڑے، اے شمر لئی کس پہ تو برساتا ہے کوڑے، آبے تو بڑی دیر سے بے ہوش پڑا ہے، آبے تو بڑی دیر سے بے ہوش پڑا ہے، زنجیر کی آواز ابھرتا رہی شبر، زنجیر کی آواز ابھرتی رہی شبر، اس قیدی کو کیا روگ ہے، کیوں جاگ رہا ہے، اس قیدی کو کیا روگ ہے، کیوں جاگ رہا ہے، زینب کو کوئی دیکھ نہ پائے اسی خاطر، زینب کو کیا دیکھ نہ پائے اسی خاطر، نیزے پہ سر سیبت نبی بول رہا ہے، بے پردہ حرم ساتھ ہے، اور شام چلا ہے، سجاد کو بے موت یہ غم، سرغازی کا تھرا کہ گرے نہ کے سینہ سے، سرغازی کا تھرا کہ گرا نہ کے سینہ سے، شاید سر زینب کھلا دیکھ لیا ہے، شاید سر زینب کھلا دیکھ لیا ہے، فضا کی حمایت میں کھچی تیغ ہزاروں، فضا کی حمایت میں کھچی تیغ ہزاروں، زینب کی حمایت میں بس ایک قیدی کھڑا ہے، مقتل سے چلی آتی ہے زہرا کی صدائے، مقتل سے چلی آتی ہے زہرا کی صدائے، یا رب یہ کہاں کے قافلہ سالار چلا ہے، بے پردہ حرم ساتھ ہے، بے پردہ حرم ساتھ ہے، اور شام چلا ہے، سجاد کو بے موت یہ غم مار گیا ہے۔
صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ یہ تھے اسماعیل حسن جو سلام پیش کر رہے تھے۔ اب میں گزارش کر رہا ہوں جناب احسن زہرم سے کہ آئیں اور بارگاہ سید سجاد میں سوزخوانی پیش کریں۔ جناب احسن زہرم۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہ۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔ قابل ترین صلوات۔ اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
اشک نکلے جو غم شاہ میں پانی کی طرح اشک نکلے جو غم شاہ میں پانی کی طرح فکر بہنے لگی دریا کی روانی کی طرح فکر بہنے لگی دریا کی روانی کی طرح فرش شبیر سے کردار بنا کر شبیر نہ دہراؤ کہانی کی طرح اشک نکلے جو
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
یہ پرابلم نہیں
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اپنے دکھوں میں آیا جو شبیر کا خیال اپنے دکھوں میں آیا جو شبیر کا خیال شکوہ تڑپ کے شکر میں تبدیل ہو گیا شکوہ تڑپ کے شکر میں تبدیل ہو گیا ہر غم میں کربلا نے سہارا دیا ہمیں ہر غم میں کربلا نے سہارا دیا ہمیں ہر غم غم حسین میں تحلیل ہو گیا اپنے بلندرین صلوات مجھ رہی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد مجھ رہی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد کش پیتے رہے پیمانہ پیمانے کے بعد کش پیتے رہے پیمانہ پیمانے کے بعد تک بنتا رہے افسانہ افسانے کے بعد، حشر تک بنتا رہے افسانہ افسانے کے بعد، کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، زندگی سے تنگ ہوں گے دشمنان اہل بیت، زندگی سے تنگ ہوں گے دشمنان اہل بیت، غیر ممکن ہے مگر مر جانا مر جانے کے بعد، غیر ممکن ہے مگر مر جانا مر جانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، اور خدمت شبیر میں بھیجا قصیدہ فیصلہ، خدمت شبیر میں بھیجا قصیدہ فیصلہ، ارے پیش یوں ہوتا رہا نذرانہ نذرانے کے بعد، پیش یوں ہوتا رہا نذرانہ نذرانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، اور ہو رہے تھے اس طرح قربان سارے حسین، ہو رہے تھے اس طرح قربان سارے حسین، شمع پر جیسے گرے پروانہ پروانے کے بعد، شمع پر جیسے گرے پروانہ پروانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، کش پیتے رہے پیمانہ پیمانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، اور ماتم شبیر کا بڑھتا رہا جوش و خروش، ماتم شبیر کا بڑھتا رہا جوش و خروش، قیس آتا ہی رہا دیوانہ دیوانے کے بعد، قیس آتا ہی رہا دیوانہ دیوانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے میں خانہ میں خانے کے بعد، بادہ کش پیتے رہے پیمانہ پیمانے کے بعد، مجرئی کھلتا رہے سورہ فاتحہ۔
محمد و آل محمد صلوات اللہ
مرسی کے چند امام سجاد کی شہادت کے موقع پر ایک اور بلند ترین صاحب
اللہم صلی علی محمد
حسین غریب کا جانے بڑا ہے غش میں حسین غریب کا جانے منا رہے ہیں خوشی ظلم چور کے بانی دم نماز جو چوکا یہ ہے در ثانی وضو کے واسطے اٹھ کر طلب کیا پانی وضو کے واسطے اٹھ کر طلب کیا پانی وضو کے واسطے اٹھ کر طلب کیا پانی جو پانی آیا تو منہ آنسوؤں سے دھونے لگے میری نگاہوں میں بابا کی پیاس رونے لگے میری نگاہوں میں بابا کی پیاس رونے لگے پھر نگاہوں میں بابا کی پیاس رونے لگے تڑپ کے دل نے کہا ہائے سید خوشبو یہی تو ہے نام ملا 3 دن جو بیر وضو اسی کی چاہ میں کوثر کو چل سے محروم اسی کے واسطے امو کے کٹ گئے بازو اسی کے واسطے امو کے کٹ گئے بازو اسی کے واسطے امو کے کٹ گئے بازو یہی تو وہ ہے جو بے شیر نے نہ پایا تھا اسی کو مانگ کے گردن پہ تیر کھایا تھا اسی کو مانگ کے گردن پہ تیر کھایا تھا اسی کو مانگ کے گردن پہ تیر کھایا تھا برس کے آئے مصلے پہ اور پڑھے وہ نماز جس کے بعد تھی حد وصال ناز و نیاز ہر ایک ذکر طویل اور ایک سجود پکارتی تھی یہ روح حسین سجدنوا پکارتی تھی یہ روح حسین سجدنوا مجھے بھی ناز ہے جس پر یہی وہ طاقت ہے یہ آخری میرے سجاد کی عبادت ہے یہ آخری میرے سجاد کی عبادت ہے یہ آخری میرے سجاد کی عبادت ہے ہوئی تمام جو آخر نماز جان رسول حمد کے لب چومتا تھا حسن قبولیہ جو شکر کے سجدے کو حق کی یاد میں تو ایک عشر کا یاد آیا سجدہ مقبول تو ایک عصر کا یاد آیا سجدہ مقبول تو ایک عصر کا یاد آیا سجدہ مقبول اٹھے جو روتے ہوئے کچھ کر گئے سجا کہا حسین حسین اور مر گئے سجا کہا سجا اٹھائی دوڑ کے باقر نے لاش رو رو کر تمام بیویاں ماتم میں پیٹنے لگے محلہ بنی ہاشم میں غل مچا گھر اٹھا جہاں سے عزادار سبت پیغمبر اٹھا جہاں سے عزادار سبت پیغمبر اٹھا جہاں سے عزادار سبت پیغمبر چھٹا وہ آل سے جو آسرا تھا غربت کا بجھا چراغ شہر کربلا کی تربت کا بجھا چراغ شہر کربلا کی تربت کا بجھا چراغ شہر کی تربت کا نبی و حیدر و زہرا کی روح ہے ناشا حسین کا ہے یہ نوحہ کے ہائے ہے سچا بطول کہتی ہے رو رو کے یا خدا فریاد سہے گی دہر میں کیا کیا ستم میرے اولاد سہے گی دہر میں کیا کیا ستم میری اولاد سہے گی دہر میں کیا کیا ستم میری اولاد جفا سے قتل کیا جبر و قہر سے مارا جفا سے قتل کیا جبر و قہر سے مارا میرے مریض کو ظالم نے زہر سے مارا میرے مریض کو ظالم نے زہر سے مارا میرے مریض کو ظالم نے زہر سے مارا پڑا ہے غش میں
Mu'minat, this is our final Majlis of the series, and this evening we are observing the Shahadat of our fourth Imam, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Inshallah, will be taken out, sponsored by the families of Bande Khuda and Sajjad Zehra Asghar. We are very thankful for their generosity. May Allah shower His blessings upon these families in this life and the life hereafter. Our next series of Majlis, observing the events, the atrocities, and the hardships on Ahl Haram in Karbala and Sham as well as Kufa, will inshallah begin this coming Thursday. And our Majlis will inshallah begin with Salatul Maghrib, and so please make note of that. As Salatul Maghrib and time changes, our Majlis time also will change. So inshallah we'll try to keep the Salatul Maghrib within our Majlis program. And sponsored by the families of Thursday's program is going to be sponsored by the families of Imtiaz Abdi, Rehana Rizvi, Sayyid Mumtaz, Imdad Nahwi, and the Jafri family consisting of Sister Poolbagi, Zafar, and Jafar Jafri. So please join us this coming Thursday, starting with Salatul Maghrib. And all these majalis for next week, inshallah, will be recited by Untitled Chapter Maulana Mahdi Sahab. With that, I'd like to now request our Maulana Muhammad Ali Beg Sahab to address the gathering, and we are very thankful for having honored our invitation for the last 5 nights and for your very intellectual and striving lectures over the past 3 or 4 nights, 5 nights actually. For Muhammad Wali Muhammad Bawal Bulan Nare Salwa.
Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Sayyidina wa Maulana Abul Qasim Muhammad wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin siyama baqiyatullah al-azam ruhi wa arwahul alamin lahu al-fida. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. There is a strong attachment between Karbala and the zuhur of our Imam. There's a purpose behind Azadari. There's a wisdom and a goal that has been set. And we see this attachment even in our amal. For example, on the birth of our Imam, and anything that has to do with our Imam, like 15 Shaban and any other occasion for Imamat, you see that Allah wants us to recite the ziyarat of Imam Hussain and remember Imam Hussain. And then when it comes to the days of Imam Hussain, like Ashura, then there Allah wants us to remember Imam Zaman. One of the amal of Ashura, if you know the amal of Ashura that you have done, one of the amal that has been written down in hadith, and it's a well-known amal, but most of us don't practice it because it's a little bit long, is a greeting that we should say to each other on Ashura. Whenever you meet a Shia on Ashura, it is written in all the books of Allah that you should say a greeting to each other. Now, because it's long, we just say the first words for it. You say, A'zamallahu ujurana wa ujurakum bimusabina bil Hussain. You know, may Allah increase your ajr and our ajr in the musibat of Imam Hussain. Now, we just say this one part, but the whole thing, when we read it, you see, after that there's a sentence we don't read because it's too long for us, non-Arabic speakers, to say all of that. And because the whole thing goes like this, Asamallahu ujurana wa ujurakum bi musabina bil Hussain wa ja'alana wa iyyakum min at-talibina bi tharihi ma'a waliyyihi al-Imam al-Mahdi. The second part of that is that may Allah make me and you from amongst the seekers of His revenge under the flag of His descendant Imam Mahdi. So on Ashura, Allah says to everyone, remember Imam Mahdi. Because the purpose of Ashura is going to lead you to Zuhur and to that revolution. That's where it's headed towards. And this is why it's so important for us to understand Ashura deeply. We all have a very basic understanding of Ashura, and we have gone through the Majalis and Azadari, and this is a part of our lives. In fact, it's a core of our lives. You all know this in your own life. You know that this is a core of your life. The idea is not just, for example, just to make it the core, but now dig deeper to see how it's helping you or it wants you to go to that zuhur and how it wants you to go there. My friends, when you look at Karbala, it is a school, it is an institution. And And in every occasion, Allah asked us to remember Karbala. Tell me, if Allah wants us to learn Islam from Imam Hussain, in every occasion that we have, he says, go to Hussain and learn Islam there. Imams have also said that learn this from Hussain, learn this from Hussain. So, tell me, did Imam Hussain teach some important lessons of Islam in Karbala, or did he teach everything in Islam in Karbala? Really answer this question. Did Imam Hussain teach everything about Islam in Karbala, or did he teach only some important lessons that we need to know? Think about it very carefully. Did Hussain make use of the opportunity that Allah has given him? Because no other Imam had the opportunity that Imam Hussain had. In every Imam, Haqq and Batil was unclear, vague. It was really unclear. I mean, people had a hard time deciding between Ali and Muawiyah. I mean, for us it's easy, right? Because history is 2020, and we can easily decide. But what if you were there and there is no Usul-e-Din book that you read? All you know is that Ali he's the Khalifa, he's the government, and Muawiyah is also the government up north. And you know what? They both are at war with each other. I mean, how many people would say that, you know what, Ali is right, Muawiyah is wrong? In that situation, it's vague. Yes, for you to do that, you must have to do a lot of research. Neither do you know Imam Ali, there's no hadith around. You see, hadith, right? I mean, like for example, we read the hadith because the member, our ulama have read these hadiths, this and that. The hadiths were written down much later, after Imam Sadiq. So all the hadiths that we read about our Imams, these hadiths have been actually written down in books after Imam Sadiq, not before that. And even if they were written down in books, those books were not published and available in bookstores. They were just written down. Many centuries later, they were published and Shias began to read these hadiths. And then they would say, did you know Rasulullah said this? Did you know this? After hundreds of years. Those hadiths weren't there at that time, that where you see Rasulullah saying that Ana wa Ali min Nurin Wahid, that Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Aliyun Babuha. Who knew these hadiths except for a few people who were there? And for many years these hadiths were banned to be spoken of by all the Khulafa. So how would you know these hadiths? So now for you to side with Imam Ali against Muawiyah, imagine that test. It was a very hard test, so don't just say that, how did these people respond with Muawiyah? It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, my friends. One needs to have a really deep understanding of Deen to know that, what? Muawiyah cannot be the truth, but look at his lifestyle. Look at what he stands for. Look at his goals. And look at Ali. Look at what he stands for. Look at his goals. See who he is. Thinking deeply and researching about this. Only those people would reach Imam Ali saying that he is the truth. And they did. And those people did reach Imam Ali. So my friends, it's easy to just write it off. To say that, yes, if we were there, we would be with Ali. It's not that easy. So now, Imam Ali, neither Imam Hassan had an easy chance or a clear path. Or the Imams after that, Imam Zainul Abidin was, was not even known by people. He was hidden away. None of the people knew the Imams until Imam Raza. No one knew who Imam Sadiq was. Really, the Ummah did not know who Imam Sadiq. Imam Sadiq had 4,000 students, but no one knew who Imam Sadiq was in the Ummah. So all these 4,000, like for example, if I ask you, how many Shias do we have here? You will say, mashallah, we have this many Shias in New Jersey. Tell me, can you name a few teachers in the Hausa, in Najaf or home. You'll see that. Do you know any teacher there in the Hausa? So the Ummah is here, but they have no clue who are the teachers of Islam. The Hausa is running, Imam Sadiq is teaching, but no one knew the name of these teachers. That Imam Sadiq is there, no one knew that. Only in the time of Imam Rada did Ahlul Bayt became a household name, because he became a public figure and the media spotlight was on him, and that was the purpose of his imamat. Allah put him in that situation in order that Ahlul Bayt become a household name for this ummah. There's a reason behind these things. We need to know things deeply. So Imam Hussain, of all the Imams, had the opportunity that no other Imam had to teach Islam in the most clearest and obvious way. It's like, for example, when you go to an eye doctor and he puts different lenses in front of you and you see some lenses are blurry, some vague, some this, and then one lens is like 20/20 and you can see perfectly. See, that's the lens of Karbala. Haqq and Batil was so clear in Karbala that anything that has to be taught of Haqq would be learned without any adulteration, any mixing. And hence, that is an opportunity Allah gave Imamat, and Imam Hussain used that to teach everything in Islam. And hence, we have to learn Islam from Karbala. We need to learn it there. And if we are seeing that the same lessons are being taught every year, then we need to ask ourselves, why aren't we going further? Why aren't we digging deeper? Why aren't these subjects changing? Why aren't we going more into that? Because this should be infinite. It should be infinite. And that's why a lot of things we don't learn from Karbala, because we don't take the time or make the effort to dig deeper and learn from there. Imam Hussain established an institution in Karbala. When he established his tents and his camp and the Khaymagah, that Khaymagah became an institution. That Khaymagah became an institution in which the most highlighted servants of Allah came out of. These very tents are the place in which 3 Imams prayed to Allah. Imam Hussain, Imam Sajjad, and Imam Mahdi. They prayed to Allah in these tents. These are the tents that witnessed the dua of Bibi Zainab in Namaz-e-Shab. These are the tents that every example of greatness came to us. These are the very tents in which the children of Hussain were crying out for water. Yes. I mean, these are things that Allah, when He makes a picture of this, of the universe and the timeline of this universe, will hold everyone here and say, no, I want these pictures to be forever in everyone's heart. This is, my friends, what it is. And when we look at this, it's so much. All of these tents, what can I say regarding these tents? These tents, you know, and I can say this, that they were burned down on Ashura. They were burned, they were destroyed. You know this. But Allah wants these tents, this Khaymagah, this institution to reign in the world. And they will reign in the world. They will reign in the world. And so, when we look for Islam, we learn everything of Islam here. Now, when it comes to Imam Mahdi, let's say, one of the most important things regarding Imam Mahdi that we must do is known as intizar. Intizar of our Imam. How do we learn this lesson here? I want to give this example and then go forward to my speech. so that you know the link between Imam Hussain and Imam Mahdi. Send a salawat, please.
لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين نعرہ حیدری
What is the meaning of intizar? What does it actually mean? You can't learn it in books. You can't learn it from thesis of ulama. You know, in order to learn that, you have to go here to Karbala. That's where you learn what intizar is. You know, and when you want to learn about intizar, you learn it in these tents. Because the children of Hussain are still doing intizar of Abbas. Really? Even today, the children of Hussain are waiting for Abbas to come back. You know, I want you to see this intizar. They're waiting for him to come back. You see, they have no reason not to. When Abbas went to get water, he did not say goodbye to the children. He didn't say farewell. He didn't say, I'm not coming back. So the children never heard Abbas say goodbye or farewell. And Abbas said that I will get water. They heard that also. And they never ever witnessed Abbas say something that he does not do. They never saw Abbas in their whole life say something that he does not do. He said he's going to bring water. He hasn't said goodbye, and so he went. So now everyone is waiting. They are waiting. You know, and now when Imam Hussain came back with the flag, the adults understood what happened. The children didn't know. If the children got lost and went to the river and saw the body of Abbas, they would ask Bibi Zainab, did Abbas fell down? Did he die? They didn't know he was dead. Imam Hussain never said that Abbas died. They understood. Now, my friends, you see these children, they started waiting. They started looking, where is Abbas? You know, every time someone slaps Sakina, she would be looking towards the river and saying, where is my Abbas? Why isn't he here? Where is this intensity coming from? This intizar. Look at this. I want you to see this emotion. How do we learn from Karbala? What is it that we're learning from Karbala? And how do we learn lessons from Karbala? They were waiting. They did not give up hope. Not for a minute. If you told Sakina that Abbas is not coming back, it would be hard for her to believe it. Just like it was hard for al-Baneen to believe when they said that Hussain was killed. She said, what do you mean Hussain was killed? Where was my Abbas? Where was my Abbas? They said, you know, Abbas was killed also. What do you mean Abbas was killed? I cannot believe that Abbas was killed. Who would dare stand in front of my Abbas? She cannot believe that. If you go today to Jannatul Baqi and ask al-Baneen, she still does not believe that Abbas was killed. Why? Why is it that they cannot accept these things? Why is it that their faith is so strong and they have so much yaqeen that this is going to happen, that there's no way that this can happen? Why is it that? This is what we want to learn, my friends. This is where intizar comes into play. You know, how intizar comes up, there are two ingredients for intizar. One, there has to be a promise that is made. There has to be a promise that is made, and that promise is someone that you believe in, and two, that person who made the promise must be a person that you know who will not back and who has the power, who has the ability to accomplish that promise. Yes. First thing is a promise that's made. When someone makes a promise, that's it. Then you start trusting him. Now you start believing that this is coming. And then when you see that this person has power, he has the ability, he has the capacity to fulfill that promise, then you start to find yaqeen. When he said it's going to happen, it's going to happen. This is what happened in the tents. They saw that Abbas came there and said that I will bring water. When Abbas said I will bring water, then that was the promise that Abbas made. When Abbas made that promise and gave his word to the children that he will bring water, now the children, all they had to know is that is Abbas capable of doing it? Does Abbas have the power to do it? If you believe that he has the power to do it, then you know what? This is when intizar takes shape. Intizar finds its reality when these two things happen. And this is where, when we look at our time, and when it's said by our imams that Afdalul Amal Intizarul Faraj, the greatest action in ghaibat is waiting for the imam. Then these two things are necessary to happen. One, a promise has to be made. A promise has to be made. And it must be made by someone who's trustworthy. So that's the first thing. So my friends, who can be more trustworthy than Allah? Is there anyone, if Allah makes a promise in the Quran, can we say that there could be a better, a stronger, and a more potent promise than that? And Allah makes that not just one place, so many places He says that He promises the believers that He will establish them in the land. And that He will make their deen prevail over all other religions. He made that promise. This is it. So that's one part that has been fulfilled. Now the second part is where the doubts come from. Is Imam Zamana capable of doing this? This is where the doubts come from. We know that Allah made the promises in the Quran. You heard it so many times. Allah made the promise. Can Ahlul Bayt do it? I mean, most of the Imams were killed. And you see the Imams were in house arrest. They were put in jail. You have that history on one hand. So now, those Imams, and the last Imam is from the same line. The rest of his forefathers either were kicked out of their position, removed from society, martyred, put in jail, put under house arrest, so no one can meet them. So all of these things happen to the Imams, right? So what makes us so sure that Imam Zamana would be different? Here, my friend, is where the doubts seep in. And we need, in this point, evidence and proof. This faith that we have should not be a blind faith. If it's a blind faith that's based just because we heard it from our elders, it's not going to last. It's going to lose its air. Faith has to be built on evidence. It has to be based on proof that we reach a certainty. Of course they have the power. Of course they have the power. Why? I can see it with my eyes. This is why it's important. Now, unfortunately here, I'll just say, some things here, notes, side notes. We look at power in the wrong places. You know, unfortunately, this is our weakness, that we are not able to see things deeply. We see power in the wrong places. A lot of people think that Imam Ali was powerful because he did not raise he raised the door of Khaybar. They think that his power, see, that's an example of his power. And when you look at it, that wasn't an example of his power. Well, that's not the example. When people said, wow, how powerful you are, he said, that's not my power. That's Allah's power. Right? So don't give that credit to me. Don't tell that I did this. No, I didn't do that. Allah did that through me. He used me, but it was His power that He gave me. He clarified it with people. He clarified that with people. That's not power. But most people look at that as power. You know where the power of Imam Ali is? The power of Imam Ali was when he did not raise his sword when Bibi Fatima was being pushed around. Then you have to bow down to Ali and say, you are powerful. Wow. You are amazing. See, we need to know how to look at what power is. Khaybar was easy for Ali. This, my friend, was, we can't. We would not even be able to even understand this. This is how you look at things deeply. This is where real ideology comes in, where you can recognize the Imam over time. And that's how you would know it. So, as I say this is the way. How can we look at the situation right now and believe that the Imam will overtake this world? That he will overwhelm the world and he will destroy all the superpowers. Everything will be gone except for our Imam. And then at that time, yes, Aliyun Waliullah will find its true meaning. Yes, that time it will find its true meaning. But how will it happen? How will the Imam do it? This is a doubt that many youngsters have. When they look at the world right now, with all of this going on, all this media in their hand, we have no say, nothing. They just run over Muslims, everything. How is it possible? Subhanallah. So we need to have evidence in order to disprove what's happening in front of our eyes and to prove that this promise will come out true. La ilaha illallah. So let's start, my friends. I want to give a proof to you, so that that kids can start. You all can start thinking about it, about this proof that I'm giving to you. Let's send a salawat. If you look at yourself, and you look at the Shia world, you look at the world of Mu'mineen and Shias, my friends, we are the richest people in the world. Now, those who are not able to see deeply will say that no, the Jews are. Zionists are. I beg to differ. I say no, the Shias are the richest people in the world. And really, this is our view. When you look at it, what is our view based on? What is it based on? What is wealth? What is richness? What is ghina? Being ghani? What is it? And then you will understand it. A man came to Imam Jafar as-Sadiq. He wanted a loan. He was under a lot of debt, had bills to pay. We all do. But he was going through a little bit really tough time. So he came to Imam and said, Mawla, I am poor and I need a loan. Now, you see, there are two things here. He said he's poor and he needs a loan. So the Imam replied back to him and says, I will give you the loan, but don't say you're poor. Why are you saying you're poor for? am. Bills to pay, I have no income, I'm going through difficulties, you know, and my wife reminds me every night that I'm poor. So I'm poor. I'm saying you're not poor. You're not poor. Why are you saying that you're poor? He said, how can you say that? He said, tell me, do you love us? Do you have love for us? I said, right? Yes, of course I do. I love you all. I'm your Shia. I side with you. So our love is in your heart? Yes, it's there. The Imam said, tell me, if you are offered the wealth of this world in exchange for this love, if someone comes to you and says, listen, I want to give you a $500 million check, just write on this paper and declare that I do not love Ahlul Bayt. That's easy, 500 billion, right? Imagine how much that's going to set you up and how many generations. Imam is saying, if someone gives you that and says, say that you don't love us, would you do it? And he said, no, I will not do that. I will not do that. The Imam said that you have something that is more precious than the wealth of this world.
Nara! Hey!
My friends, we have something that's precious than anything that we are unwilling to give up, no matter what is presented to us. So now tell me, who's richer? We are those people who are running after money like slaves. Who's richer? So looking at things the right way first is the first condition right now. Look at it deeply so you know what it means. Don't get beguiled by advertisements and these fake slogans. They look nice on the outside, but when you look inside, it's empty. It has no meaning. That's why hadith and knowing hadith is so important, because that's what makes us grounded, well grounded in knowing how to think correctly. So inshallah, let's put that in mind. Now we come back to the point that how do we know that the Imam is powerful, that he's capable of doing this? Is he capable of doing this or not? I mean, we really need to see some sort of a miracle. A miracle would prove to us that yes, you know, I now believe. But actually it doesn't. You know, it's very hard for Allah. I mean, if Allah shows a miracle, how many of us are going to believe that miracle? And how many of us are going to justify it? How many of us are going to just avoid even answering about it? I mean, you see, we need to look at this really carefully, because I do want to show a miracle today, right here. You know, so don't expect me to crack Astaana-e-Zehra now. I'm not going to do that, okay? That's not the miracle I'm showing, right? I want to show you a real miracle. You know, this is it. I mean, what would you call a real miracle? Would you call parting of the sea by Musa a real miracle? It is, isn't it? I mean, Allah mentions that in the Quran also, that this is a miracle that we gave to Musa, where he parted the sea. And parting of the sea was not something simple. See, it's not, for example, like for example, a lake or a swimming pool. It's a river. And when you are going to part the river, you see, the water is not still. It's running. So if you make a wall, so that'll stop the water on one side. The other side will just go away, right? So there will be only one wall there. But these people walk between two walls. So one water was stopped, and the other water that was going that way, that was kept in place. You see how the forces of physics were changed. So obviously this was something like amazing. And people are walking through it. They went through that miracle. The very miracle, it was so that the people actually were involved in the miracle. So they went through it. Now imagine if obviously they must become like mu'mineen, right? After that. After they see that, they become like, subhanallah, that's it. We have seen the power and now nothing is going to change us. But what happened to the same people? Only a little bit after they started worshipping the Kaaba. So my friends, seeing a mu'jizah doesn't mean that it's going to keep you right. It's not going to keep you right. You have to truly understand what happened. Think deeply about what happened there. If I can show you. So this mu'jizah was there, parting of the sea. That happened. So a person came to Imam Sadiq. And he said that, look at Musa. He parted the sea, the river. He made a road in the river and parted that, divided that. What have you all done? What have you all done like that? And you say that Imamate is higher than Nabuwwat. What have you all done to do that? Now, the person who was asking, he was not an enemy. He was not an enemy. He was, in the circle of our Imam. You could regard him as a Shia. He was just asking, so say something about yourself. Not that he wants to put him down in that way, but just asking, what have we done here? Can you give something like that? He asked Imam Sadiq. Yeah, this mu'jiza is there, and Imamat, he knows, is higher than Nabuwwat. And like for example, we know that as a part of Usul-ud-Din, there's higher than Nabuwwat. Our Rasulullah is also an Imam. He is also an Imam. Right? So when you say Imamat, it's the 12 Imam and Rasulullah. And that's why you see Imamat is higher. When you see that. That's why Rasulullah is Afdalul Anbiya, because he's also an Imam. So in this case, what happens is that Imamat is higher. So now, what is it that you have done? So what Imam Sadiq said? First, he gave a principle. I want you to just understand this. He gave a principle, my friends. You know what he said? He says, tell me. I'll tell you one thing, he said. It's more difficult to part the hearts of people than it is to part the ocean. It's more difficult to go in the hearts of people and divide that than to divide the sea. It's much more difficult. Look at that. How, when you speak to people, you see their hearts are so hard, no one even wants to budge. How many can do that? So first, Imam Jafar Sadiq said that it's harder. That it's harder to part the sea than to part the hearts of people. My grandfather Hussain parted the hearts of people. My friends, Hussain went into the hearts of people and melted them and rules over them. He says, this is the mu'jiza of Ahlul Bayt. This is the mu'jiza of Ahlul Bayt, my friends. On this night, on all these nights that you have majalis, all of these people, especially youngsters, you come over here to listen to Majlis instead of doing anything else that you could be doing, like playing games or any other entertainment, but you choose to come here. Why? Who's ruling your heart? Who's making you come here? Subhanallah. This is the case. Request from the organizers, if you all can please move up. There's people standing outside wanting to come, and the place near the door is covered. There's a lot of room here. So let's sing this.
Muhammad wale Muhammad bulantar salwa.
You know what's happening? What's happening is that Imam Hussain is now going into the hearts of people, melting it, lighting it, going there, making that the place where he rules from. This is the Mu'jiza. You all are a part of the Mu'jiza. Recognize yourself. Everywhere Hussain goes, you see, that is what Hussain does. He just takes over people.
Okay.
Takes over their hearts. You know, you came to America, you see that how Hussain takes over the hearts of people who are here who did not even know him. And just goes into their hearts and takes over. Really, this is, my friends, who Imam Hussain is. And then, if you want to see that power, look at it, how it's growing. Look and go to Arba'in. Go to Arba'in. Say Labbaik and go to Arba'in. Be a part of that. You know why? Because my friends, ulama have said that this is the mazhar of our deen. This is the manifestation of our deen. Make it more powerful. Enhance it.
Labbaik ya Hussain!
Labbaik ya Hussain!
Labbaik ya Hussain!
Labbaik ya Hussain!
Nare Haydari!
Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Madad Haq Haydar!
You know, I mean, you all know, we all know this, right? 20 million, 25 million people come there. They come there just because they love Hussain. Through all the hardships, they know they're going to go through hardships, whatever it is, they just want to go to Hussain. Just want to be a part of this. They want to come there. And you know what? The world is ignoring it. You know that. The world is ignoring it. Media ignores it. Media ignores it. Right, that's fine. We're not angry. Nor are we going to fuss. Nor are we going to say anything. You know what we're going to do? 25 million people came and they ignored it, we'll make it 30 million. If they ignore it, we'll make it 40 million. If they ignore it, we'll increase that number until they cannot ignore it anymore. This is our duty. We will bring people to Hussain. We will go there and we will bring them because we know that if they come, that's it. I can give you a story. You met that person, you know, John Chuck. You know, he came here to Astana, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He came here. When he came for Arba'in, he came with me. And that journey that he came, first day, you know, I mean, he was just, you know, there to make a documentary, you know, show that. He learned a little bit about Imam Hussain and that's it. And then what happened is that one day, 2 days went by. You know, 3 days, he started to attend the Majlis, you know, he was attending the Majlis. And then after like 2-3 days, hearing the Masahib, you see that he starts crying. He starts crying. I mean, we don't want to bother him or anything, right? He's there, and I just said, you experience it. I don't want to put anything in your head. You experience it yourself. This is not me to get in between Hussain and you. You know, if I do that, you know, I might make a mistake. You know, turn you off or something. No, I want you to experience it yourself. This is your experience. This is you and Hussain, not me or anyone else. He just listened to Majlis, went around, started crying. Then, you know, after like 5-6 days near Arba'in, he starts doing matam. You know, he stands in the lines and doing his matam. He wants to do it himself. And then after that's done, right, you see towards the end of the journey, he starts praying also. He's in the line praying. You know, and we see that, right, what happened here, you know, I mean, and everyone was asking him, well, what's going on? You know, I don't know. I mean, that's not for me. Right? That's not for me. That's between him and Hussain. You know, whatever grows will happen there. You know what? Yes, he came back, and after that, you know, they went through the problems and all these things, and he died last year. Now that he died, you know, they are his daughter and 5 other Christians are coming just to make this journey that changed his life. You see? They just want to go there and see what happened that changed his life and he became a lover. Who made him fall in love? You see, this is it, my friends. Hussain does that. We just have to take the people to Hussain. Do the same thing to them that you did to us. You know, you did this to me, do the same. There it is. That's all it is, my friends. We need to really look at the power of imams, that they have power to change anything. Salawat. You know, just one thing I will say because it shouldn't be left out. I told you that there are 3 qualities that followers of Hussain and followers of Mahdi share. 2 of them were loyalty and firmness. The 3rd quality is shahadat, being ready for shahadat. That's it. Also, I want to say, you know, I don't have time to expand on this. Being ready to become shaheed. If you are not ready to become shaheed, neither are you going to be with Hussain, neither are you going to be with Imam Mahdi. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but you're not going to be with them. Being ready for shahadat. I'm ready to die. How can I say, you know, I mean, I want to give an example. Just one example I'll give and that's it. You know, I don't want to extend the majlis too long. You know, I remember once, it's a story, I wasn't there, but you know, somehow I'm involved in that. There was a person in Houston, there was a center, I shouldn't have said Houston, you know, but in a city, you know, on Ashura, you know how on Ashura everyone is waiting outside, waiting for the majlis to start. So what happened is that they were all waiting there and they saw this biker come. This biker who's riding his bike, you know, long hair, tattoos and everything. And he just rides up into the driveway. Now what happened is that everyone saw this, got a little bit scared, you know, because you hear all these stories about people coming in and doing that. So they were like, okay, what should we do now? So one of the person approached him and he asked this guy, how can I help you? And just in his way, right, he says, I'm here for the Majlis of Imam Hussain. Just like that. Inshallah, come on in. It's going to start soon, you know. So he came there, attended, and then he started attending the Majalis there, and that's where I met him. And I spoke with him there, you know, about, you know, whatever is going on. So as we were speaking, and he used to come to the Majlis and listen. And as I was speaking, right, I was asking him that, so, like, where do you live? He said, I live on a construction site. Okay, I mean, construction site, are you into construction? No. Why are you living in a construction site? Yeah. He said, you know, he just stopped over there. And then he just looked at me and said, you know, I don't know what's wrong with these Shias. Don't they know that the Imam is coming? Why aren't they ready? What are they waiting for? I'm ready to go. I sold my house and everything. I am ready to go when the Imam comes. I'm just waiting here. I have my passport ready. I have my money ready. I will go wherever he comes. I don't want anything holding me back. You know? And this is the issue right now. You know, when you are waiting for the Imam, when you're doing intizar, this is what it means. What is your exit plan? Have you made a plan? What are you waiting for? Are you thinking the Imam will take a long time coming? This is something real. And that's why intizar is learned in Karbala. My friends, every time these children used to be on the camel backs and they were holding on to their mother and they would be slapped or hurt. They will look past their mother to see, where is Abu Abbas? Why isn't he coming? They're still waiting. If you go to Sham today and go to the grave of Bibi Sakina, you will still hear her calling out, Aina Ammi al-Abbas? My uncle Abbas hasn't come yet. This is that intizar, my friend. That's it. What can I say? Today is the Shahadat of Imam Zainul Abidin. Imam Sajjad is the one who taught this ummah to cry. He taught this ummah to cry, shed tears. Really, if you can see your tears, Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless your hearts. There is dua that Bibi Fatima does for you. You cannot get a better dua than that for you, my friends. That's why you're blessed. You are blessed because of that. Bibi Fatima is making this dua. But imagine Imam Sajjad. When Imam Sajjad, the physical pain is one thing. Let me just tell a little bit about physical pain so my children can understand physical pain, right? It's not easy for us to imagine what he had gone through, and he did not break. He did not break at all. Imam Sajjad, when you looked at Imam Sajjad, you see that it is said that he was put on the bare back of a camel. Bare back of a camel has a hump. You usually put a saddle on a camel in order to sit on a camel. To understand the Masayib of Ahlul Bayt after Karbala, you should know something. Ahlul Bayt were not Bedouins. They're not people who lived in the desert. They were city dwellers. They lived in a city with these things that you get in the city. They're not used to living out in the desert and riding long rides on camels. This is not their way. When they were after Ashura taken, when you look at how they were taken, these ladies were not used to this treatment, and neither is Imam Sajjad used to this treatment. Imam Sajjad, it is said, was put on a bare back of a camel. The camel has a hump, but more than that, the hair of the camel are very hard. If you sit on the bare back too long, then that bare back is going to now pinch into your flesh and will start scarring your flesh. Imam Sajjad, it is said, they sat him on that camel. Now, how was he sitting on that camel? Can I say this, my friends? It is said that they brought a chain that is known as Ghull-e Jamia. Ghull-e Jamia is a chain that is used to band many slaves together. When many slaves, you want to band them together, this is a long chain. You bring a long chain in order to band all these slaves together. So now, the way they tied him up is like this. Just a little moment of your attention, you can cry, inshallah, after you see me. When they tied him up, one of his hand was put behind the neck like this from this side. The other hand was put like this from this side in the back. And both these hands were now tied like that, so his hands are like this all through the journey. He's going like this all through the journey. And then what they did is order. Now he cannot hold himself on the camel. In order to hold him up on the camel, they tied that chain on his ankles, and they put that chain across the belly of that camel and tied his legs like that. So now his legs are tied to the belly of the camel, and he is sitting on the top with his hands like this. Now as he is taken, two things are happening. When the camel walks, it doesn't walk smoothly. It walks right and left, right and left. When it's walking right and left, then this chain that's on his neck is going from right to left, right to left, right to left. And as it goes right to left, it cuts into his flesh. It starts cutting into his flesh like that. And the second thing that's happening is that the heat of the sun is making that steel soft, hot, that iron hot. So when the iron is hot, it's heating the flesh that is being broken into. Imam doesn't cry. Imam goes through that. Now you can imagine why Sakina used to look at Imam Sajjad and she used to cry in pain. All the ladies looked at Sajjad and cried in pain. But then this Sakina used to look after Imam Sajjad. You know how she used to look after Imam Sajjad? Every time they came to a stop, and then when everyone went to sleep, it is said that Bibi Sakina would go and crawl in between all the ladies towards Imam Sajjad, who would be put on the ground with his hands tied. He would be put on the ground with his hands tied. They would go there, he would go there, and she would take his feet and put his feet on her lap, little lap that she had, and one by one she would take out the thorns that are stuck in his feet. And she would wash his legs with her tears, and the tears would get wash his legs. But my friends, these are just the physical hardships of Imam Sajjad. What can I say? These are the physical hardships of Sajjad. But you know what? Imam Sajjad, the worst thing that happened to him was that emotional and that pain that he took inside. That was too much. That was so much. We cannot even imagine that. That's why you see some hadith that you cannot believe. One of those hadith that we see is when Imam Sajjad was asked, what was the most difficult time that you had? He said, Asham, Asham, Asham. It was in Sham that happened. He said, what happened in Sham? What happened in Sham that made it so hard? He said, 7 things happened. And he listed them out. He said, first, we were kept outside the city on camelback for 3 days while they were decorating the city for our spectacle. We were the circus that was going to come to town and people are going to see us. And then they lined the streets with people. And when we went through the streets, these people had stones and wood in their hand that they were pelting at us. They were pelting these stones at us. These stones were, really, my friends, so many masa'ib happened. How can I speak of these masa'ib? How can I speak of these masa'ib that happened in Sham when they happened there? You know, these stones that we're seeing, they were not small size that you use in Hajj, that they should be small. They were like handheld size. When they were pelting them, they would be hitting these people, scarring them. They were told to pelt those on the heads that were on the spear. People were aiming for the heads, and they were pelting them on the heads. You know, there was all these heads out of the spear, but one head, can I say this, one head, it was lightly mounted there. It wasn't mounted strongly on the spear. There was a reason for that, because the head was too small. It don't fit on the spear. That was the head of Ali Asghar. When one of these stones hit the head of Ali Asghar, it fell off the spear. When it fell off the spear, it was in the ground where the people are. And so many people are there. Zainab ibn Kulthum making the people go away. Where is the head of Ali Asghar? They were searching it on the ground. La ilaha illallah. How many masa'ib happened in Sham? What did Imam Sajjad see there? La ilaha illallah. You know, there's a hadith that we have Really, it's hard to believe it. Imam Sajjad said, Laytani lam thalitni ummi. I wish my mother did not give me birth. Imam Sajjad said, I wish that my mother had not given me birth. Yeah. Someone asked Dailami, Alim, asked Sheikh Mufid, is this hadith sahih? This is in hadith we have. He said, yes, it's sahih. He says, when did Imam Sajjad say such a thing? When did he say such a thing? You know, he said that when Imam Sajjad was in Sham and these stones were being thrown, these stones were also hitting the horses on which the ladies were sitting. These stones were hitting the horses on which the ladies were being sit. So when it hit the horse on which Fatima bint Hassan, the wife of Imam Sajjad, the daughter of Imam Hassan, the granddaughter of Ali and Fatima, where she was sitting, when that stone hit the horse bucked up in the air. When it bucked up in the air, then Fatima bint Hassan, the wife of Imam Sajjad, had Imam Baqir in her hand. And when the horse went in the air, then she lost control of her position on the horse. On one hand, Imam Baqir is falling to the ground. On one hand, her hijab is coming off. She is holding her hijab in one hand, Imam Baqir with the other hand. Imam Sajjad looks around to see what happened. When he sees his wife like that, he says, Ya laytani lam talid ummi. I wish my mother had not given me birth. You know, these people were throwing stones and then they were throwing coal also, hard coal. They were throwing that from the houses. They were putting it down on their head. You know, it came down. All of these coals, as they came down, Imam Sajjad said that coal, a hard piece of coal, landed on his head, in between the amama, on his head. Now Imam Sajjad started to feel the burn of that coal on his head. He wants to take it out, but then he sees his hands are tied behind his back. He wants to take out the coal, but no one is helping him to take it out. Can I say something over here? Imam Sajjad knows it more than anyone else. You know what happened to Hazrat Abbas when he was on the horse and that mashkiza was broken? You know what happened there? There was an arrow that came into his eyes. It went and lodged into the eyes. Then Imam Hazrat Abbas at that point was sitting on the horse, and he said in a dream to someone, he said, you know what I was doing on that horse? I was trying to take that arrow out. I was trying to take it out, but the more I tried, I realized I don't have hands. I don't have hands to take it out, so I started shaking my head left and right. The same thing Imam Sajjad is doing, trying to shake his head so he can take that burning coal from his head. Imam Sajjad goes through these, how many things he has seen, my friends, we just hear about it and we can't bear it. Imam Sajjad for 35 years. For 35 years he cried. Everything used to make him cry. It would make his memory come back of all the things that happened. Imagine how he was living this life. Every time he would see water, he would cry. Every time he would see water, he would cry. He says, you know, my father died thirsty. He cried for that. Every time he would go towards a butcher who would be slaughtering a sheep, he would ask them, did you give that sheep water? The person would say, Mawla, I am a Muslim. I follow the Sharia of your grandfather. Of course we gave him water. He said, he would turn to Karbala and say, Father, did you hear that? They give water to sheep also before they slaughter a sheep. They will give you water. Now Imam Sajjad, who is poisoned now, today he was poisoned, and through the effect of that poison he is going to die. Now as he is now dying, now he remembers those things that are in his heart. He says, Ana ibnu Fatimata-Zehra, I am the son of Fatimata-Zehra. Ana ibnul Masbuhul Balwara, I am the one who is the son of someone who was cut from the backside. Do you want to know the last thing that he said? You want to know the last thing that he said? May Allah give you ajr. Imam Sajjad is dying and he says, Ana ibnul Majsus al-Ras. I am the one, I am the son of someone whose head, you know what happened when Imam Hussain was slaughtered from the back and the neck was broken and they came all the way down. There was a place, they stopped to use the sword and now they wanted to take the head out, but the head was stuck with the esophagus. So now they pulled that head out. They're stretching it out so they can snatch it out. Ya Mahmud, Ya Allah, Ya Fatir as-Samawat, Muhsin bihaq Hasan, Ya Khalid al-Hasan, bihaq Hussain. Give us the tawfiq to be on the right path, wisdom to understand your guidance, peace to the reference to Imam, because it's powerful when he comes. Allah accept this ibadah from us. Allah, we ask you to protect us and our children and keep them safe on the path of Ahlul Bayt. Allah, we ask you to make us such that we can use these majalis to reach our Imam and bring the zuhur of our Imam. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، مظلوم بے وطن کا سجاد ناتواں کا، مظلوم بے وطن کا سجاد ناتواں کا، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، اس کا جنازہ جاری اس بے کسو حزین کا، سالار کارواں کا، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، راہوں میں سر کھلے تھی ہمراہ بیویاں بھی، اور خون رو رہی تھی زنجیر بیڑیاں بھی، اس صبر کے خدا کا غیرت کے آسماں کا، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، ننھی سی جس کی خواہر زندہ میں مر گئی جو، بابا کو یاد کر کے روتی تھی ہر گھڑی وہ، اس بھائی پر حزین کا لاچار ناتواں کا، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، اے مومنو اٹھاؤ بیمار کا جنازہ، مظلوم بے وطن کا سجاد ناتواں کا، امام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، پاؤں میں بیڑی تو کے گرا بار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، بھولے گا نہ یہ منظر نیزے پہ سرے سرور، بھولے گا نہ یہ منظر نیزے پہ سرے سرور، بھولے گا نہ یہ منظر نیزے پہ سرے سرور، بھولے گا نہ یہ منظر نیزے پہ سرے سرور، بے مقنا بے چادر بلوے میں پھوپھی مادر، اور مجمع کفار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، بازار کی زیبائی کوٹوں پہ تماشائی، 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 آدھا کی سفارائے اور عالم تنہائے، وہ بے کس و لاچار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، پاؤں میں بیڑے تو کے گرا بار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، دربار میں سرگریاں آئے ہیں حرم گریاں، 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 اٹھنے لگا ایک طوفان محشر کا سہے سامان، جنبش میں ہے دربار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، میں بیڑی تو کے گرا بار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، اٹھائی تو گھبرا کر بچی نے کہا رو کر، اٹھائی تو گھبرا کر بچی نے کہا رو کر، اٹھائی تو گھبرا کر بچی نے کہا رو کر، اٹھائی تو گھبرا کر بچی نے کہا رو کر، اس دشت میں ہے تو سر وہ تو ہے سرے سرور، کیسے کروں دیدار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار 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 عابد بیمار۔ حاکم نے جو سن پایا تو اور ستم ڈھایا، حاکم نے جو سن پایا تو اور ستم ڈھایا، حاکم نے جو سن پایا تو اور ستم ڈھایا، حاکم نے جو سن پایا تو اور ستم ڈھایا۔ سرپوش پکڑ کھایا اور بچی کو دکھلایا، چلائی وہ ایک بار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار 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 عابد بیمار۔ کو شمر سے کہلا دو گردن میری کھلوا دو، کو شمر سے کہہ دے بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار، شام کا بازار عابد بیمار۔ دختر کی صدا سن کر پیشتشتے طلا سے سر، دختر کی صدا سن کر پیشتشتے طلا سے سر، دختر کی صدا سن کر پیشتشتے طلا سے سر، دختر کی صدا سن کر پیشتشتے طلا سے سر۔ گودی میں گیا اٹھ کر نادان نے لپٹا کر، منہ پر رکھے رخسار بیمار ہے میری ہو بے علی، ماں نے گھوٹی میں دی ہو بے علی، وارثان ابو ذر و عمار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے۔ کب شفا کی ہے ہمیں کوئی طلب، شفا کی ہے ہمیں کوئی طلب، کب شفا کی ہے ہمیں کوئی طلب، ماتم ہے سجاد میں بیمار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے۔ ہائے وہ غربت وہ عاشورے کی شام، ہائے وہ غربت وہ عاشورے کی شام، ہائے وہ غربت وہ عاشورے کی شام، بنت زہرا کی پہریدار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے، بیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے، بے کسیلا وارثی اہل حرم، بے کسیلا وارثی اہل حرم، بے کسیلا وارثی بیمار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے بے کسی لاوارسی اہل حرم بے کسی لاوارسی اہل حرم بے کسی لاوارسی اہل حرم ننگ سر قیدی سارے دربار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں اہل بیت مصطفیٰ لاچار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے کس طرح سے پائے گی بے قبوں کس طرح سے پائے گی بے قبوں کس طرح سے پائے گی ان بے قبوں فاطمہ صغریٰ بہت بیمار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے بھیڑیا ہے عابد بیمار ہے ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں ایک بچی مر گئی زندان میں اہل بیت مصطفیٰ لاچار ہے
الله السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء يا سيدة نساء العالمين السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين وقاسم ابن الحسن ومسلم ابن عقيل وهاني ابن عروة وحبيب ابن مظاهر والغر الشهيد رياضي السلام عليكم جميع شهداء كربلاء وأسيران كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء السلام عليك يا مغيث الشيعة والزوار في يوم الجزاء السلطان يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا روحي وجسمي لك الفداء ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب الأصل والزمان الأمان 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 السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجن أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك ورحمة الله وبركاته صلوات
اللهم صل على كل ربيع المجد الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا